countless meetings, but it is not common to have a precious one that could change a whole life. True death is what is remembered by nobody. A person who has devoted his or her whole life to the country. We call this person a patriot. People who have disappeared from memory. Undiscovered patriots. Among them, a representative figure, Yoon-Kook, will be reflected today. The 11th graduate of the Pyongyang Theological Seminary, a minister who was in charge of 3 churches. However, he was a Confucian scholar who studied the 9 Chinese classics. He entered the theological seminary late in his life and worked as a minister. He was brought to trial on the charge of leading the independence movement in Jeongju. He was sentenced to 2 years in prison for gathering about 4,000 people to explain why it was natural for Joseon to be independent, which was believed to have led to the independence movement. During his time as a minister, he convinced the believers to invest in the development of a gold mine. Those who trusted him put forward huge amounts of money. Then the money disappeared. The money flowed to the Shanghai Provisional Government and was used to fund the independence movement. The man who loved his people as a minister and who also lived with the love for humanity, Yoon-Kook. He appeared in Jeongseon right before the liberation. Was it because of the misunderstanding about money? Or was it to seclude himself from the chaotic world? When the Japanese Empire's determination for war reached its peak, the nationalist leaders retired to the countryside to dedicate themselves to education. Education is the second independence movement. They judged that it would be a long-term fight. The independence movement in Osan continued to an educational project for fostering young students in Jeongseon. Something truly valuable is not visible to the eyes. It is delivered from heart to heart and inherited from spirit to spirit. In Jeongseon, 장열리, and Hanggol, he is not seen.
그 전에 이제 문용국 선생님이 여기 와 계셨다는 걸 안 사람이 아무도 없고. 예.
아무도 없었죠. 내 꿈에 그렇게 가르쳐줘서 그때부터 이렇게 다니기 시작한 거죠.
이북에 갔다 놀러 데려왔어요. 놀러. 바로 해방되니까 놀러 가족을 데리고서는 갔다가 놀러 그해 의료년이지. 의료년이 그해 가을철, 겨울철이죠. 겨울철에
예.
내려왔었어요.
아,
왜 혼자 왔었느냐 하니 가족들이 딱 말 안 듣고 안 간다고 해서 내가 혼자라도 이런 살라고 갔다고 그래.
정선군, 강원도. It is a place of peace and hope that is surrounded by mountain Choyang, Cheolmi, and Bibong. just like a folding screen, and encircled by the Choyang River that leads to the Dong River. Inauguration ceremony of the Jeongseon Bridge. A 1,000-foot bridge has been built over a long river. People cross the bridge on a donkey's back, with no concerns about crossing the river anymore. Just as a white crane that flies over a misty river, with its big wings, it is safe like a great mountain or an iron car. The literary men rush to create poems. An old countryman with a hoe frequently crosses the bridge. Crossing the river has become as easy as flipping the hand over. The value of a paradise could not be more than this. He looked ahead into the future of his people. They began a new life here in Changnyeolli. In order for them to grow with dignity and generosity. Wherever he stays, the village people are greatly influenced by his teaching and thinking, just like a tree that permeates into the surrounding people. Yoon-Kook, who settled in Hanggol, shared and learned.
우리 아버님 한 얘기가 하여튼 그 선생님한테는 4시간만 있으면은 그 문선생님한테 가서 저기 말씀이라도 듣고 넌 배우라 소리는 안 는다. 그게 말씀이라도 듣고 그러면 너 앞으로 장래 살아가는데 평생에 도움이 될 것이다. 아버님 늘 그렇게 말씀하시고 그런데 너무 위대한 분이라고 늘 그런 말씀하시고 다 찾아가서 그 가서 그랬지. 딴 선생님들처럼 이제 돌아가면 반채라고 하지 않습니까? 네. 그 반채하고 뭐 그런 적은 없고 그 앉은 자리에서.
Children come to see me. 10 years away from home, autumn has gone, and spring is coming again. I have treated everyone I met with sincere heart. If I write and recite a poem, perhaps I will be reborn. As I do not like drinking, I force myself to just wet my lips. The crane of Gosan delivers news to Im Hwa-jung, and the plum blossom of Yeohyun welcomes Jo Dok-rin. As some children with books visited me, I could not get out of the village school for 3 months in the summer. Yoon-Kook, a teacher who steadily practiced his self-discipline to move toward holiness, step by step, without any shame under the sky. A place where a noble life is. A mere sight of him makes one bow down.
아주 양반이 성질 강직하고 아주 엄해 보이고 풍골도 좋고 말도 잘하시고 그랬어요. 그냥 사롱은 이제 뭐 행적을 좀 대통령한테 알려야 되겠다고. 그러니까 이 양반 내가 나이가 많은데 뭘 내 몸도 못 쳐서 그런데 뭐 그럴 필요가 없다고 그래.
하나의 독립운동가고 참 나라를 사랑하시는 분이라고 그렇게 얘기하고 싶습니다.
I have lived to see the spring of 80. If a man is useless in the human world, he is like a worm between heaven and earth. Ask God whether or not you have shame in your heart, because your nature is benevolent and your body is Buddha. Your thoughts are clear and deep, like bottomless water. You have lived a long life away from the world and welcomed the spring of 80. All things in front of you must be thrilling. But who would know that the noblest crane has lived in a filthy world? Now, I meet him and stand at a place where I originally started. It is the same place, but a completely new place. The novelty was born before and after meeting the teacher Yoon-Kook. Now I go back to the original place of my life. Instead of myself from yesterday, I stand in the center of this world as a transformed person since meeting him. He is in me. He is alive.